Hey, welcome back to the Quacking Pancakes Podcast, filmed here in Cornwall Studios in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Kory Hoang.
And I'm Evan Mullvain. We've been out of the studio for a while, but we're back and we're ready to roll.
That's right, and moving forward, we'll be rebranding this main podcast program as the Tiny Table Talkshow, a tribute to this ridiculously small table and studio that we navigate around.
Today's topic is memorable TV ads. We'll talk about some of our favorite and some of our least favorite TV ads of all time. It's our best episode yet, and you're not going to want to miss it. So without further ado,
let's get into it. Alright, so as we mentioned in the intro, today's topic is the best TV ads of all time. We'll be covering everything from nostalgic infomercials to anything you might see on TV today. Evan, you want to kick us off with an ad?
Yeah, sure thing. This episode of the Quacking Pancakes Podcast is brought to you by... Just kidding, not yet. But I would say the Skittles commercials are probably some of the most memorable commercials back in the day. Mm-hmm. I really liked the way that they filmed it, the kind of the colors and that darker humor. It kind of reminds me of the Napoleon Dynamite kind of vibes.
Yeah, it was a little bit like washed out, looked like a small town type thing. All the characters were... for lack of a better word, they looked like normal people. You know, they didn't look like, everyone in commercials has to be extremely polished and wearing tons of makeup. These just look like normal people you'd run into at the grocery store.
The interactions were my favorite, where it's just like you got these people wearing super bland clothes. You got, it's like the Napoleon and Deb or the Pedro and Deb, where they're just like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. You got something on your face. Oh, really? Oh, no, stop. You're going to also have Skittles on your face. And that's it. It's, wow, I really want some Skittles now. It's like me. It's boring and very normal. And I don't know, they're very funny to me.
I will say, sorry, were you going to say
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I will say that was probably the most memorable candy commercial I could think of besides maybe Baby Bottle Pop had something going on, like with the Jonas Brothers. Was there really any other candy commercial that can measure up to that?
I can think of like they had the like Snickers commercials, like you're not you when you're hungry, or the like the M&M commercials. They had like the characters and all that.
Right.
But yeah, candy in general, like what was the one where you like put the drops on the candy and like you go crazy when you ate it?
I don't even remember, but I remember doing that, and it was almost like you had to finish the lollipop or whatever it was in like one sitting, because if you put it back in the thing, it would get stuck, at least in my experience. So yeah, it's pretty sticky.
Very strange, but Baby Bottle Pops were good because it was very catchy, like that. It just
the Baby Bottle Pop.
Yeah. So that was good. I think food in general, like, they have to be good, because it's like, what can we say that will make you really want to eat this food?
Especially like canned ravioli or canned SpaghettiOs. Like I remember, there's that canned Chef Boyardee commercial where like she has to pick up the can and her mom's like, no, we don't need that. And the can follows her all the way home. And I remember you had showed me something pretty funny on that.
There's a very funny Vine that imitates it. It's very, very close representation, kind of going through, instead of like the one.
But I remember I was watching that commercial with my grandmother, and she saw it, and she's like, wait, no, the cans don't actually move like
She saw the Vine one.
No, not the Vine one, the original one.
The original.
But, I always thought that was interesting. What was your... Did you ever eat the Chef Boyardee ravioli?
I did, and it's fine. I didn't care for it. I think I've eaten it more times cold than I have like in the microwave. Yeah, you just like open it up, put it in the thing, and just eat it up.
Well, I was gonna ask, what was your favorite flavor? Did you have a favorite flavor of it?
Did they have different flavors?
They just had either like there was 3. It was a meat sauce. It was a mini ravioli with meat sauce, and then there was the cheese one.
I think I just got the stock, like, regular raviolis.
Yeah, I always ate it with the cheese flavor. Like, it was stuffed with cheese, and then it had meat sauce, because I think they would stuff the raviolis with the meat sauce and then put it in meat sauce. I just always felt like it was missing that kind of gross, like, cheese whiz type cheese in there. But, sorry, were you going to say something?
Were you ever a SpaghettiOs person? Like,
no, I was just about to say... transitioning into kind of SpaghettiOs. I never had SpaghettiOs. Like, I don't think I ever wanted to.
They were weird. It's like you ate a couple of bites and you were already full. Like, it was a very weird feeling. You just ate it and it was like, oh, I don't feel good in my tummy. This is not.
It just, I don't know. Chef Boyardee was one thing, but the idea of eating like canned spaghetti rings was like pretty. It was very unappealing to me.
Yeah.
As much as the commercials itself, it was always like animated, and they'd say like, "Hey, try a bite of this," and then like it would play like a rock concert in your mouth. I was never interested in SpaghettiOs.
There was the oh, do you remember when the like the chicken noodle soup they like came in a cup? You like microwave the cup and you could just drink it.
Just drink it straight up.
I thought that was cool. I had a couple of those as a kid.
You did?
Yeah. It was cool. I felt like I was an adult walking around with a coffee cup.
I mean, I would get it for like tomato soup or something, but they actually did that with like chicken noodle.
It was chicken noodle soup, but the noodles were like little star pasta, whatever.
Okay.
And it was just very easy, and I don't know, it was cool.
So did you just drink, or were you meant to just like drink it, or were you like supposed to drink it and like chew it in your mouth and all that stuff?
I don't know. It's kind of like an applesauce where it's like, you don't really chew it. You just kind of like.
But this is different because you have a transport device with the soup, and then you have the pasta, and I'm assuming chunks of chicken.
They're really tiny. Like I don't even know if there's chicken in it. I think it was just chicken flavored broth. With the tiny noodles.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, food's got some weird commercials, like the Apple Jacks commercials when we were a kid.
Right.
Those were cool. I like those. I think cereal like had the best kind of commercials as kids.
I will say I might be the only one in this boat. I really wanted the Apple to win like one time, and then they would just release like just regular apple flavored Apple Jacks.
The Cinnamon, he got on my nerves a little bit.
Did he?
It was like, this guy's like kind of arrogant. Like, he's like, oh, I beat you. The Apple just wanted to win. That's it. Like, I don't think he was a bad guy. He was just like, oh, I want to win.
We're about to come up with a whole analysis of how Cinnamon was actually the villain of that commercial.
Or like the kids in the Trix commercials. I wanted I wanted the rabbit. The rabbit. I just was like, oh, the rabbit's got to try the.
Refresh my memory. So the rabbit's trying to get the Trix.
So in the Trix commercials, it's the rabbit that wants it, and the kids are like preventing the rabbit. But in the Lucky Charms, it was like the
kids were trying to get it.
The kids were trying to get it, but the leprechaun was like, no.
Okay.
It's very all these cereal arcs that you got to keep up with. Did you ever try the Oreo cereal when that was a thing?
No. I just watched a barista on TikTok the other day make coffee with cereal milks, and she was like, have you guys ever had Oreo O's? They're called Oreo O's. No, I've never had that.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I always thought that was really good. Cookie Crisp was the only one that I had that was like based on, I guess I don't know if it was based on anything. It was just like chocolate chip cookie cereal.
So here's something I just remembered. What about the Betty Crocker bacon filled cake pan? Do you remember that?
Which was that the one where like it was like the dome and you got?
It was a dome. It came with like a bunch of different. I guess they were like stencils of some kind. You would fill up each pan in a way, and then like after it would bake, you'd have to like set them on top of each other. You could stuff them with stuff. They would always say like you can fill it with ice cream. You could fill it with Jell-O or anything like that. You can make the dome, or like you can make like a baseball player for your star outfielder or whatever.
The big I do remember that now. Those are good. All those, like, I mean, we could talk forever about all those infomercial type. There's so many good ones. I remember Billy Mays did the big city slider station.
Slider station,
had
right?
Like, it was like a griddle. You could just like put the burgers in the things.
I'm like starving now just thinking about it. But yeah, did you ever have any of these kind of?
I don't think so. No, never. I mean,
me neither.
It just seemed like. I mean, I totally would have, but I was never 18, and I didn't want to ask my parents. You know,
didn't want to ask
if I was 18, I would have been like, "Yo, I'm getting all these." But I feel like as soon as I was like, "Hello, can I order one of these things?" Like, is your parent around? Like, no.
One of my favorite food infomercials was the Chocolate Factory. Remember the Chocolate Factory? It was like it was a fondue thing, but you could like put chocolate milk or whatever, like chocolate sauce in it. And then you can also use it for fondue and all that stuff. And they gave you like a bunch of templates to like make your own candies, and you could deliver things on Christmas and Valentine's Day. Like that seemed a lot of these things just seemed so interesting to me, but like they seemed like special occasion type things. These weren't things you would buy and use on a regular basis, you know?
So correct me if I'm wrong. Fondue tastes. Have you had fondue before?
I haven't actually. Now
It
that you mention it.
tastes. Maybe this is just the way that I'm making it. It tastes weird. Like queso that you get at like a Mexican restaurant tastes pretty good. Like it's just melted something. But fondue.
So, cheesehead expert, please explain to me: is there a what is fondue? What is that?
I don't even know. That's why I'm asking. Like it tastes weird. Like it doesn't taste like you melt a brick of Velveeta and that's what you have. It's like a soury kind of. Maybe I just had bad fondue one time. I don't know, but I wasn't a big fan.
Right. Yeah, never had fondue, and I know like if anybody's ever had Golden Corral, Golden Corral has a chocolate fountain type thing. I still don't think I've ever had a chocolate fountain either. At least like I don't know when you dip food in that, is it still kind of like a liquid or anything, or is it like after a minute it turns into like chocolate covered strawberries?
I think it kind of solidifies a little bit once it cools off. Yeah, it's like the fountain itself is like heated and it just keeps running over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But you just reminded me. Did you ever have that? It was like I don't know if it was like a Crunch thing or a Snickers thing, but you like put it on top of ice cream and then it solidified on top of your ice cream.
No.
Oh man, that was good. It was like magic to me.
What do you mean Crunch? What do you mean by
It's like
Crunch?
the Crunch candy bar or the Snickers candy bar.
Crunch candy bar.
Yeah, like it was like in a chocolate syrup container, and then you put it on top of ice cream, and it just hardened as soon as you put it on ice cream.
I can't even remember. Crunch is the one with the Rice Krispies in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That does sound like a pretty cool concept.
What are some other infomercials? Billy Mays, he was like the king of...
And then there was the dude, I can't even remember the dude
the
from...
English guy.
No,
you're talking about the ShamWow guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's
Isn't
probably...
he in jail now or
yeah,
something?
he's probably the best that we don't remember his name.
There's a ton of kids' toys. Do you remember Zoo Books?
I do remember Zoo Books. I think they played Zoo Books more than any other commercial I could ever remember.
And I always wanted Zoo Books. I think it was like any other magazine. You order like the whole year's worth of supply, and then like they would always include a gift if you called within like the next 10 minutes. They said like, order these 12 issues now. We'll give you the elephant issue as a gift, plus stickers and the tiger poster. And I really wanted the tiger poster.
Never got the tiger poster.
Nope, never got the tiger poster. And to this day, I don't think, even though they had them in the library at the school I was at, I don't know, this is an aside, when you were in school, you guys had the AR reading system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be in a certain qualification to read a certain level of books. Zoo Books never had, or there were certain books that never had like any attachments to them, and for whatever reason, like at the school I went to, we weren't allowed to check them out. So to this day, never read a Zoo book.
I didn't either. I always saw them at the. It's like when it's on TV, it's like, oh, it's so cool, and then you see it at the library, and it's like, oh, I'll get around to it. I'll get to it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I just never opened it. There was like a weird feeling about magazines at the school library. Like books were cool, but I never went over to the magazine section. It felt like it was kind of off limits.
I mean, it's also off limits, but then when it comes to magazines of any genre and in general, like they don't age as well, right? You know, because they're out of date information.
I don't know if you could check them out either. Like you could just look at them at the library, but I don't know if you could take them home because they're like so easily rippable and stuff like that. But some other kids things. You remember what was the toothbrush that you would like brush your teeth with?
Tooth
Tunes.
And it was like I don't even think I ever saw them in store, but like they were always talking about like Kiss, the rock and roll all night, and like I don't know. I feel like having a toothbrush that sings to you is not very practical. But I mean, it's for kids, so who knows?
I mean, would they just stop it at at a certain time?
I'm pretty sure it would probably only just like play the chorus, and it's like that's how you know when you're done brushing your teeth or something.
I did have one that like you pressed a button and like a light would flash or like blink super fast, and probably wasn't like very good for you, but you like brush your teeth, and as soon as the 2 minutes was up, or 1 minute, it would just stop flashing. So
yeah, what about what is that thing? It was like they would always say it's not Play-Doh. It's
talking about Floam. Floam was cool. Anything that you could like shape with and all that was really cool.
Did you ever have Floam?
Never had Floam, but I did have It was like what are the things they call them? I don't even remember the names of it, so it's gonna be really hard to describe it to you.
Okay.
It was like big long strands of rubber, and you could like put them on. Like they would say like, oh, make a cup holder out of it, or make stuff with it. It was like yeah, I don't know. I'm very hard.
idea.
I'll put it on the screen right here so you can see what I'm talking about, but I have no description for it whatsoever.
Yeah. No, I think.
Did phloem get hard like after a while?
Yes,
or did it
you had to
remain-
put it back into like a tub to like be kept fresh, or else it would harden over time. But I think we may have had phloem, but I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they eventually moved that towards being sold in stores. A couple other craft type products. You remember rainbow art?
That one was cool because that was like the colors would all like
Yeah, so you would take like a couple different wedge shapes and like attach it to a pen. You would dip them each in their own separate color, and then you can like write with them, and it'd be like rainbow art, obviously, but it looks like that very reminiscent of like Panama City type, the spray on type shirts and stuff.
The ones that I always wanted that I thought were really cool were the two markers, like
Blendy pens.
the blendy pens where you had it was like the tube, and they called it like some super magic process that you'll never understand, you stupid kid. You put one marker in here, you put another marker in here, and then you twist them up, and then you had different colors.
I mean, look, I'm a grown adult now, and I still don't even know how that works. So
I don't either, man.
Maybe it is magic.
It was pretty cool. I will agree with that. Did you ever have a Light Bright as a kid?
Light Bright.
It was like a big box, and you would like poke plastic pieces into like a stencil, and then you like turn off the light and then turn the light on, and it would flash like whatever art you made with the plastic pieces.
I can't say I remember that.
That was one that I think I convinced my parents to get me from TV, which doesn't happen often. It was like that and Hot Wheels. I got so many Hot Wheels.
Did you have any? Sorry, I was gonna say, did you have any tech decks or anything like that?
I wasn't a tech deck guy.
Really?
Were you? Were you a tech deck guy?
No, my parents they would buy me a lot of things, but like there were certain things they would never buy me for like just no reason. Like they didn't get me any tech decks, and like I had to watch all my friends in the cafeteria and like elementary school in the morning play with their tech decks and all that stuff. And this is completely unrelated. You know this. I mention this story all the time. I did not have my first Pizzone until like 2 years ago because
I do recall.
my dad was like, "No, I'm not getting that for you. It doesn't make any sense for us to, one, try to get pizza, and you as a kid get your own little Pizzone, you know." And like I just had my first Pizzone the other.
Oh, you had? Okay.
Yeah, I mean this was
good?
like a couple years ago, but I mean it was worth it. Like I would have loved to have it as a kid, but I mean like I don't know. If you were in a parent's shoes, would you also be like, "Look, we're trying to
get pizza. Let's just
I get it. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of good food commercials out there.
Keeping up with like the kids' toys. Did you ever have like the I guess it wasn't like just a boy's toy, but did you have the fushigi, like it was like the circular crystal ball that they would do the tricks with and like that, and you can like. I thought that was so cool, and then my friend got one, and it was just like a glass ball.
What is it called?
Fushigi.
Okay, whatever that is, you just remind me of I know you loved maybe you still love these. I know you ate these all the time in college, though. You just remind me of there was like a very 90s 2000s commercial of yakisoba, and like they'd be like, "What is yakisoba? Yakisoba is Japanese inspired cuisine," and it'd be some girl who's not Japanese. She'd be like, "I love yakisoba." And I'm like, so when I saw that you ate those, I was like, oh, okay, like
I mean they're good. They're very good.
I don't even know what they are. Are they like ramen or what is it?
It's like fancy ramen, I guess. It's just like instead of one packet, it comes with like 3 packets. It's about the only difference.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, we're like bouncing off each other. You said something about cuisine. It reminded me of kids' cuisine.
Kids' cuisine.
Do you ever have those?
I had them all the time, and like that's probably why all I do now is like eat like lean cuisines.
Speaking of which, I didn't know that lean cuisine or kids' cuisine was like a lean cuisine thing. I thought it was like its own separate
TV
thing.
dinners, or you're saying the brand itself?
Are they the same thing? Like,
I don't think so.
lean cuisine part of kids cuisine, or is it just they're just all cuisines?
I think they're just all cuisines.
Okay, all right. Well,
but yeah, I did, and I think my favorite was like Dino Nugs, right? I don't remember what it was, but there was a kids cuisine that someone can comment this down below where like it came with a brownie. Do you remember that?
a lot of it, yeah. Some of them came with the brown. Oh, there was one. So there was the brownie one, and then there was like the pudding one, and you still microwave the pudding,
Yeah.
which made no sense to me. And you put like sprinkles on it, and it tasted very strange.
Right. I was thinking more of like the reason why I brought up the brownie one is because I would buy the brownie one just to get the brownie one. My parents would always get so mad because I would never eat the entree. It was like Salisbury steak or something. I'm like, you're trying to give me like Salisbury steak as a kid?
Yeah, leave Salisbury steak.
Steak.
Salisbury steak. It's stanky. But no, the banquet TV dinners, they have good Salisbury steak. I will say, it smells like an old folks home, but it does taste pretty good.
Never had banquet. I don't think I've ever gotten outside of Stouffer's or Lean Cuisine.
When I was getting real desperate in college, I had some banquets and some Hungry Mans.
Hungry Mans. I was about to ask you. John Mayer went on on Instagram Live the other day, and like John Mayer is worth like $70 million, and he's like, "Hey, have you guys ever had these Hungry Mans? Like, this is all I eat."
Hungry Man is okay. It's okay. But yeah, the kids cuisine with the corn, anything with like the corn. That corn was so bad.
The corn.
So bad. And you just microwave the pizza. It's nasty.
Oh,
But
I was gonna ask you. This came to mind. As Midwestern boy, you know, we talk about this all the time. I always imagine that Wisconsin looks like Donkey Kong Country 3. Fishing is huge there, right?
it's pretty big.
Is it like heresy to use the rocket fishing rod or anything like that up there?
You know, I always wanted one of those, and I never got one. But they're kind of cool. Like, if it's kind of hard for a kid to like figure out how to press the button at the same time, and as soon as you do that, you let it go, you let your finger go. That's hard. And what the rocket fishing rod did was it took away that hard, hand-eye coordination that a kid had to have. I thought that was a really good idea.
So, refresh my memory here. The rocket fishing rod, do you know if that was like a kid's product or like an all ages product?
I think it was a kid's product, and then later on they might have introduced like a...
Because I feel like there was a professional grade rocket fishing rod for adults.
There might have been.
It's probably not called the rocket fishing rod.
Yeah, who knows what it's called. But I think it was like a hydraulic thing where you like pulled the lever back. It was like a Nerf gun, but there's a fishing rod at the end, and then it was like a capsule where the hook was capsulated, and then as soon as you did it, it would just open up. And
right. I mean, that did remind me, though, of like how I use this word very seriously, extreme. Like how extreme some of these commercials were, like especially with Tech Decks and then the rocket fishing rod. It was like, you can pump,
yeah.
launch. It was very reminiscent of, this was probably inspired by something like this. I'm sure you've seen like a South Park, like where Cartman is always like, I misinterpreted the ruse.
Yeah, the echoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All about the echoes.
Yeah.
So you talking about TV shows and South Park kind of reminds me of when we were kids. They had those commercials where they would like hype up the new episodes, like the new big episodes. SpongeBob in particular was some that I remember, and it was like, in 7 days, watch Pest of the West, SpongeBob, or the what was the Jester one, the one that was like in the olden days.
I don't remember what it was called, but I do remember what you're talking about.
Dunces and Dragons. That's what it was.
I was very hyped for both of those. I was going to mention that now that you brought that up. Do you remember there was an Ed, Edd and Eddy movie?
I do, and it was like there were more, because we've talked about this before, where there's like you take a cartoon and then you just add shadows to it, and you could just like call it the movie. That's pretty funny.
Right.
But that one took place in like the fall, right? They were all wearing like turtlenecks and stuff.
I'll be honest, I never watched it. Like I missed the premiere for it.
It was very weird. There
was no Netflix back then. I missed the premiere and I never got to rewatch it.
I was like, oh, I forgot it could be cold in cartoons. Like they were in different outfits.
Well,
which is very
there was
strange.
a Billy Manny Christmas special. Come on, Billy Manny Saved
good.
Christmas.
That was good. Do you remember the Nick show? It had so there was what was the slime? It was like the Teen Choice Awards or the Kids Choice Awards.
There was a Kids Choice Awards, but I feel like there was a game show that had slime, right?
There were there was it was like, was it Pick Boy? Was that his name? The guy dressed in the costume.
Yeah.
And there's, oh man, some of those shows were really good.
Nickelodeon's thing is still slime though, I think.
Yeah,
right?
they just slimed some celebrity. I don't know if it was like, I don't remember, but they just slimed someone not too long ago. Maybe it was like Josh Allen or something. I don't remember. But yeah, I feel like shows aren't as, or networks in general just aren't as cool anymore. They don't have the cool things. Like, I mean, maybe that's just part of like, we don't watch it anymore. So maybe they are doing cool things, and who knows? But as we aged, there were some more like commercials that got to our speed, like some catchy commercials, like Free Credit Report.
FreeCreditReport.com. I remember everyone came to school like and always like sang the theme FRE. That's supposed to be
CreditReport.com, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was at the time when you're a kid, you have no idea what the hell FreeCreditReport.com is, but like
no, but it's just catchy.
Remember it, yeah.
Or like Head On. You remember that one? It was like Head On, applied directly to the forehead.
But what was the point of it? Was it for like headaches?
I think it was pseudoscience to get rid of headaches. Like it was just a placebo. Like, I'm doing something. This makes me feel good.
It's deodorant for your forehead.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Maybe it was like icy hot for your forehead. And it just like,
right.
you felt some sort of way.
So why would you not just put icy hot on your forehead?
I don't know. Maybe you have something against Shaq. Who knows?
Shaq?
Yeah, Shaq's dude does the icy hot. Shaq does everything. Like, more power to him because he's just like making bank.
What is the thing he's always doing with the...
he does Gold Bond.
Gold Bond.
He does icy hot.
Yeah.
He does the General. He's the face of Papa John's now. He ran for sheriff in our district.
Yeah, it's weird. Do you know people who've met him?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I know people all over Facebook. They talk about how they've met Shaq. They just run into Shaq at Walmart or Target. I've never ran into Shaq, and I'm like so mad.
Yeah, he's all around like where we live. His house is about a 5-minute drive. Well, one of his houses, who knows how many houses he has. One of his houses is like 5 minutes away from my house right now. And
really?
It's like, I could drive you by it if you want. Like, oh, there's Shaq's house. I think his kid at one point went to the school right down the road.
I mean, we went to school with T.I.'s kid.
We did, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of an offshoot. I used to think T.I. and Timbaland were the same person because
and Timbaland were the same person.
Timbaland was just shortened to T.I.
Timbaland ruled the world at one point, and like he doesn't make music anymore.
Man,
I remember
some of Timbaland. We drove home from IKEA one day, and we're like, we're gonna play like some Timbaland, some Akon, some Kevin Rudolph. We're just gonna go to town on like the 2010s pop.
Oh man,
some of those songs were.
I was gonna say, like, do you remember these commercials that like you? Now that's what I call music, or Kids Bop. I forgot about Kids Bop.
Yeah. Did you ever get a Kids Bop?
I never got a Kids Bop, but like I heard there's a lot of funny things about how they would take a song like who did Low, about the apple bottom jeans. Do you remember?
Flo Rida
did that? Yeah, like they would do stuff like that, and they had to change out like all the words, or like they would do Kids Bops of like Eminem songs.
I used to remember an example of where they changed the word from a swear word, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not how that's supposed to sound. And I was like so upset. I had one Kids Bop, and it was the Crazy Frog Kids Bop, like the Axel F, like that one. That one hurt my heart. Like that one. Whoa,
do you remember? Cringe. Like I don't remember why. It was either at 4 in the afternoon or 4 in the morning that Cartoon Network would randomly play like the Crazy Frog music video.
I don't remember.
And he's like flying all around this like deserted city, and you could just hear him go like bing bing.
Yeah,
bing,
I remember the video. I used to watch it. Like I think that was like one of the first YouTube videos I ever watched. Was that
and
Crazy
Rude
Frog?
Sandstorm.
God, yeah. Some old school YouTube was something else, man. It was the wild west of the internet back then. But yeah, like old the Adult Swim commercials, they were just different.
Adult Swim commercials.
Even the ones that weren't actual commercials, it was just like made by Adult Swim. You know, you see.
Oh,
you see all those.
Me. They were like in between each show, like between like Aqua Teen Hunger Force or something, or like the Harvey Birdman or whatever it was. You'd just have like a blank black screen with text just talking to you, and it was like insulting you.
It was
sometimes.
like mean. It was like, "You suck. You're the worst." Now here's Family Guy at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m.
Did you? This may have just been me. Did you ever get a weird vibe watching Family Guy or Futurama on like Adult Swim versus watching it when it premiered on Fox?
I felt like I was doing something I wasn't supposed
exactly.
to. Like I would wake up, you know, you've seen the memes or like the Vines, the TikToks of people that are like, you know, you go to sleep watching, I don't know, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. You wake up and Squidbillies is on. You're like,
what about, this is completely different. What about you go to bed watching SpongeBob and you wake up and George Lopez is
and people are jumping off trampolines like, what the hell's going on? Dude.
That was a good time, but you know, you just reminded me about late night commercials, and there was this one really cryptic one that always got to me. Do you remember the Above the Influence commercials?
Those were weird. I felt like that was another one.
It made me icky, yeah. Like you're a kid who, like, you're probably like 6 years old, doesn't even know what like drugs are or anything. And it's like, it's a doodle animation of, he's like talking to his dog. He's like, hey, you know, I could quit smoking pot whenever I want. And the dog's like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, this dog's talking to him.
It was very strange.
And the music, like, they could have used any other music and it would have been fine, but it was like really crazy ambient, like Wurlitzer type music. It was very creepy to just think about. And I guess they were trying to drive home, like, hey, you should feel extremely bad about this.
That one made me feel weird. There was another one. It wasn't as scary and I don't remember it as much, but I think there was like a commercial about the like Smokey the Bear and forest fires, and they had everything
only you could prevent.
Only you could prevent wildfires, and then like they had certain structures were built out of matches, and then it was like, this is how easy it is for everything to burn down. I was like, oh, okay,
right,
that's kind of odd. But going into some more lighter-hearted advertisements,
commercials. Yeah.
Did you ever have a chia pet?
Never had a chia pet. I always wanted one, but I know like. Are they like very high maintenance, or like how does that work?
So I didn't think so. I got one when I was a kid for Christmas, and it was really easy. You just like put the seeds on the clay, whatever it is, whatever shape you get, and you put it in the sun and they grow. So I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I got one for my sister this Christmas. She can't grow it to save her life. Like, I don't know what she's doing, but she's like, it doesn't grow. And I don't know what's going on.
Hang on, you got it for her for Christmas. Like, maybe it's a seasonal thing.
I don't think so, because it's like inside. Like, you just grow it inside. As long as you put it in the sun, it should be fine, right?
Well, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of sun lately, but
I don't know. I thought it was a lot easier to grow, but who knows? All I know is they're a lot more expensive than I realized. Like, I was gonna get one for you for Christmas, but it's like $50 for a Spider-Man one. I was like, what the?
How does that work? A Spider-Man one? What was that kind of like?
He looks like, I don't know. It's just the mask, like the head, and so you would just put all the seeds on, because you like
grows an afro or something.
I guess so. Yeah, he grows an afro.
Spider-Man grows an afro. What about yeah.
I think the Bob Ross is like the most popular one because it actually looks good.
It actually looks like Bob Ross. Yeah.
There was an Obama one too, but I don't know if that would look as good with the afro. Who knows? Maybe.
A couple other commercials in mind. You know, we could have talked about this when you mentioned Skittles, but Disrespectoids, the Capri Sun. You know, those were also kind of filmed more indie style, like more Napoleon Dynamite. Gino type indie vibes.
I was really disappointed that they didn't actually like do anything when you stomped on them, because I would do it all the time. Like, I would blow them up and then
just
trying
to see what happens, like, trying to go against the universe or something.
Wow. The world did not blow up. That's a little.
I remember kids would do that in the cafeteria in elementary school, and it would be so loud, and then like they would get like ISS for the rest of the day.
Did the kids ever do the thing with the water bottle where they would like? It was an empty water bottle, and then they like twist it and then do the thing with the cap where it like pop off and like little smoke would come out. That scared me. That would always scare me.
We grew up in a pretty rough county, if you think about it.
It was
all right. Not rough. I mean, it wasn't great by any means.
Yeah, we always talk about how the you see on TV, like the high schools with the 2 stories and everybody's like having a good time and all that. And people throw the paper off the balconies when they're done with school. And it's like,
do you remember?
we had a 1-story high
This is an
school.
aside, but do you remember when like a riot broke out in high school because like one of the counselors started doing the Harlem Shake in the gym?
I don't remember that.
You
No.
don't remember that?
Mm-mm.
Like he started doing the Harlem Shake in the gym. Everybody went crazy, and then like they swarmed the gym. Everyone was running around the schools and stuff, and like they had to like enforce a lockdown. We did not go to a good school.
Yeah. It was okay.
It's fine, but
You know what? There was one thing that I never had and I thought was really cool. It wasn't like a kid's toy. It was like I don't know, it's for older people. Like the clapper. You remember that one?
the clapper, like I saw a few commercials for it. There's a Michael J. Fox movie where he's in a hotel and like I guess he's watching TV, and he thinks something's really funny on TV and he just starts laughing and clapping and the lights go off, and I was like, that's the first time I've seen a real life like usage of it, and I was like that might actually be pretty inconvenient to actually have.
This kind of reminds me, and it's a good way to like kind of cap off the episode of like us being kids and seeing products for like older people on TV, but seeing it as kids, like Life Alert. I thought those commercials were always so funny because I thought they were like so outrageous. Like, oh, do old people really fall down and need to press a button? And the answer is yes. They do need to do that. But I could not understand that concept as a kid. I was like, just get up and call somebody if you fall over.
Just get up and call somebody.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or like the sunsetter retractable awning.
Retractable awning. I always wanted one of those, but looking back at it, they never announced what the price was. But they were like, if you call now, you can get this certificate you could frame in your office for $200 off. I'm like, if it's $200 off,
they had to be absurdly expensive to put in.
Plus, they install it into your house, right?
Yeah, you gotta I'm sure you gotta call like your homeowners association to get clearance with them and all that. There's all that adult stuff as a kid. You're like, wow, just for a little bit of shade. But they would be like, it's 20 degrees cooler under the retractable awning. There's another product. I can't remember if they had the commercials for like the stair thing, like the chair that went up the.
Oh, like the dude from Up. He had one of the.
Yeah. I can't remember if there's a commercial for that. Now I'm just thinking of all like old people commercials. Did you ever see a commercial for the hurricane?
No, it was a hurricane.
It was a cane, but it didn't fall over. It had like a tripod base, and they would be like, "It's the cane that won't fall over." You could like push it, and it wouldn't. So like, I think the commercial had like an old guy at the grocery store, and he was like trying to reach something really high up, and he had to let go of his cane, but it didn't fall over. And then it showed another scene of the guy reaching for it, and he had a regular cane, and it fell over, and he couldn't grab his cane when he was reaching for something.
This is like something I just was reminded of when you brought that up. I'm sure you know this. I'm sure everyone knows this. Like, apparently the things at the bottom of the cane are not tennis balls. Did you know that?
I thought you're talking about like on walkers?
Yeah, or whatever.
They don't.
Yeah.
I thought they just like cut holes into the tennis balls.
I thought that too. And then I went to CVS the other day, and apparently they're called like actual like cane or walker like stoppers or something. Like,
really?
And they still like they're designed as tennis balls. So maybe someone did have a tennis ball, and they're like, I'll use this, and then like they were like, oh well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like you're actually seeing a car with like a magic 8-ball for like the gear shift thing.
Not in person, no.
Yeah, me neither. But
that'd be cool. My janitors in elementary school, they had the tennis balls attached to like broomsticks, and they would go around
and get like the sneaker marks.
I thought it was so cool. I asked the janitor one time, I was like, can I try that? And
they're called custodians.
Yes, fair enough. I was like, can I try that? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I like did the thing, and I was like, so cool. And I made some marks with my shoes, which I know you're not supposed to do, but then I like got it off. Oh, so cool.
There's one more conversation I want to have about a commercial before we end things, but do you remember, because I just got reminded about it in our office, like Nerf gun commercials?
They were so cool.
I'm pretty sure those guys were like 30 years old playing with Nerf guns, and they would be like, it's Nerf or nothing.
Yeah, they were like those guys with the Nerf ones, or like the the really weird laser tag ones, and people would be like, Matrix and all that stuff, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna be like when I'm 30 years old. I'm gonna be cool.
You know, like I heard there's like actual. Did they do something at Georgia Southern with like zombies versus?
It was like humans versus zombies or something like that.
And they would
where
use like Nerf guns or no?
Yeah, so they'd use Nerf guns, and then you would wear like something on your wrist or on your head, like when you're walking around campus, to signify that you were either a human or a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people could like, tag you and be like, oh, you're infected or something like that. But then they'd have like different meetings, and they would like just shoot each other with Nerf guns and stuff. Which I thought was cool. I got invited one time, but I don't think I ever went.
Would you ever join like a Nerf league if they had those?
If they did it in a way where it was like cool, like how there's always those kids when you play dodgeball at school that are like, no, you didn't tag me. Like, I despise those kids.
Did you ever play paintball as a kid?
I went one time to like a friend's birthday party. He did it. It was okay. I got like hit a couple times. It was painful and.
It was pretty bad. You wake up the next day with bruises and stuff. But
yeah. But I mean, we could go on forever talking about commercials. Like, there are so many commercials. I was like, it came in my mind and I was like, oh no, gotta wait, gotta talk about this commercial, because I mean, they're so good. I feel like commercials these days
they don't even measure up.
They're not as flashy. They're not as like.
I mean, back then, watching a commercial was almost like watching a TV show on its own. Like, you had favorite commercials. Nowadays, all advertisements, you want to hit the skip button on YouTube,
Right. And I mean, like, part of that is we're watching kids' commercials, and they're, like, flashy, and, like, it's supposed to grab your attention. The adult commercials don't have that same, like, what commercial really grinds my gears? Remember that Apple commercial a couple of years ago? Oh
boy, here we go again.
So there was an Apple commercial, and the girl, I guess it was supposed to be like a new age, like, oh, I just use like tablets. The
cinematography was pretty good and stuff.
It's a well shot commercial, but the girl, she's like, I don't know, a teenager or something.
Maybe like even just like a little like young adult, and then like it was when the iPad first came out with like the keyboard, right?
Yeah, and the adult was like, oh, is that a computer? And the kid is like, what's a computer?
And I remember the internet went insane.
We're not there yet. What? No. Wait. Kids know what computers are.
Kids know what computers are.
Oh, that got on my nerves. Like, I get you're trying to be like, oh, cool, the way of the future is tablets, but just wait. Just give it a little bit more time.
A little more time.
Whew. My watch just gave me a notification. My heart rate is off the charts.
I'm sure you could rant about that commercial forever, but that's all the time we have for today. Everyone, I want to thank you for joining us this week in this new kind of flow of how we're handling operations moving forward. We hope that you enjoyed all the programs that we've presented so far and still found value in watching this Friday episode. So with that, We'll bid you farewell. We'll see you next week, starting on Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, as usual. But thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great restful weekend. See you guys.
Peace out.